My being ready wasn't important?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I don't know, but I am ready.
We'll get there, we'll get there.
I am ready, yes.
Good morning, we are on the record. My name is Barbara Westmore. I'm a video technician representing Bird Court Reporters located in Seal Beach, California. The date is October 10th, 2014, and the time on the video monitor is 11:09 a.m. This is a videotape deposition of Harpreet Sandhu in the matter of Jaspal Singh versus Armin Sandhu, case number 13D008618, taken at 17671 Irvine Boulevard in Tustin, California. Would counsel please state their appearances for the record?
Good morning, Kathleen Keeley on behalf of the petitioner Jaspal Singh.
Good morning, David Monarch on behalf of the deponent.
Kenneth Demerly on behalf of respondent Armin Sandhu, and for the record, I am objecting to the videotaping of this deposition. I am incorporating herein as Exhibit A the notice of the taking of deposition of third-party witness Harpreet S. Sandhu and request for production of documents thereat, which does not include, to the best of my knowledge, a notice that this deposition would be videotaped. I'm incorporating as Exhibit B a notice of continuance of taking deposition of third-party witness Harpreet Sandhu and request for production of documents thereat, which was provided to my office, which contains therein a notice that the deposition would be videotaped, but it was provided to my office via facsimile 3 days ago. Accordingly, it was not appropriately served as we did not agree to facsimile service. Earlier this morning, Dr. Sandhu's wife's deposition was taken. Off the record, all counsel have stipulated, and I offered as a stipulation right now, that the same objections and arguments made on behalf of all parties and the witnesses here will also apply to this deposition as well. So stipulated?
So stipulated.
So stipulated.
I'd like to also incorporate the Exhibit C from the deposition of Milan Sandhu, which was, well, I guess I'd have to strike that. I'd like to incorporate the deposition subpoena for Harpreet Sandhu as Exhibit C, which indicates that he was personally served with a deposition subpoena on September 17th, 2014, and that deposition subpoena does indicate that the deposition would be recorded with videotape recording.
And for the record, we're maintaining the position that that deposition subpoena did not provide notice to my client, and we're preserving all. We're stipulating that the deposition can be videotaped today, can go forward, but we're preserving all rights to object to the use of the videotape of this deposition at trial.
Yes, and that's understood. And in response to that, it's my understanding a letter was mailed and faxed to your office with a copy of both deposition subpoenas, which do indicate that the deposition would be recorded with videotape recording.
And then we also renew our objection. I guess we're just going to go over it again.
Yes.
Sorry, I started.
I blame Mr. Demerly.
But the letter is not sufficient notice, and we'll reserve our arguments for the time of trial or hearing.
Only I would have dressed up better, but anyway.
Okay, Mr. Sandhu, good morning.
Good morning.
Can we swear the witness in? Please.
Would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You do solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the following proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Sandhu.
Good morning.
My name's Kathleen Keeley. I'm the attorney representing Mr. Singh in this matter. I'm going to take your deposition. Have you ever had your deposition taken before?
No.
At the start of this deposition, you and your attorney were handed a 2-page document entitled Explanation of Deposition Proceedings to Witness. It appears that your attorney has amended the document and you've signed the document.
For the record, the augmentation that I made was that I crossed off on page 2, 5 paragraphs down, wherein the bold letters state within 10 days after delivery by the deposition officer will produce the transcript. I have crossed that out and I have wrote in the time period prescribed by the code. So now it states in Instead, the signature of you and your attorney will constitute both of your express representations to us that within the time period prescribed by the code, after delivery by the deposition officer of the transcript to your attorney at his office of record, you will make any changes and sign the original of the transcript under penalty of perjury and deliver it to this office.
And we did meet and confer off the record, and we're agreeable to those changes.
And I also believe we also indicated that you would have no objection if he signed electronically and that he didn't have to come down to my office to review the same.
That is correct.
Okay.
My request is that, or objection to that, is the extent that it varies from the Code of Civil Procedure in any regard, particularly with respect to the use of a videotape at trial. I object to those provisions. I don't object to an electronic transfer or transmittal of the transcript to the witness for purposes of convenience.
And I would hand this document to the court reporter and mark it as Exhibit
See,
D.
D. There's And now the purpose of this document was to inform you of the general rules of a deposition. Do you
I
have any
understand.
questions?
No.
Do you understand
Yes,
what
I
you
do.
signed?
Oh, just so we keep it clean for the whole record, you have to wait for her to finish her question
see.
before you answer, and then
Oh, yes.
likewise, she'll have to wait for you to answer before she'll ask the question.
Thank you.
The other thing is, if somebody objects, stop testifying until it's clear that you should go ahead and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you.
So today I'm not here to trick or trap you. I'm just here to get some information from you under oath so that I can better rely on and make decisions with regards to the dissolution between Mr. Singh and your daughter. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So if I ask you a question, don't feel pressured to give an answer just because you think you need to. Think about the question first, then just give me your best answer, okay?
Okay.
And because I want to rely on the deposition transcript, I want your answers to not be based on speculation. I want you to give answers based on information under your personal knowledge. Do you understand that?
Yes.
While I don't want you to speculate in giving your answers, there's some things that I'm entitled to your best estimate on. So for example, if I was to ask you how long this table was, you could fairly estimate that it's 10 feet long. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And if I was going to ask you how much money is in my wallet right now, you would be speculating. Do you understand the difference?
Yes. Yes.
And as you know, your counsel has informed you, everything you're saying today is being recorded. So we have a court reporter here and she can't take down two people talking at once. So just let me finish my question when I ask you a question before giving your answer. Do you understand?
Understood.
Have you had any drugs or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No.
Is there any reason you can't give your best testimony here today?
No.
If at any point during the deposition you need to take a break, you need to use the restroom, you're feeling run down, just let me know. I'll afford you the time to take a break. I might want to finish a line of questioning beforehand, but you're certainly entitled afterwards to take a break. Okay?
Absolutely. Sure.
And are you Miss Sandhu's father? Armin Sandhu's father?
Yes.
When was the first time you met Mr. Singh?
I don't remember exactly.
Do you recall what year you met him?
About a year and a half before the marriage.
Do you recall who introduced him to you?
He came to my house.
Were you introduced to him, or did he show up alone to your house?
Objection relevant.
You could. From time to time, your attorney is going to object to some of my questions. You will still answer the question unless he informs you not to answer the question. Okay? So you can answer that question.
I'm going to also object that it's not likely to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
And you can still answer.
He came to introduce himself, and his name was introduced before he arrived. by my daughter. The purpose of the visit was not, I was not aware of at that moment. That was the first meeting I had.
Could we go off the record real quick?
Sure.
Do you have some water?
The time is
Sure.
11:19 a.m. We are on the record.
Sorry, I just.
The time is 11:20 a.m. We are on the record.
When you first met Mr. Singh, I believe you said a year and a half before the marriage, what did you believe your daughter's employment to be at that time?
Objection calls for speculation. Also lack of foundation.
Let me rephrase.
Yes,
When you
please.
first met Mr. Singh, did you believe that your daughter was employed at that time?
Same
that-
objection.
To my belief, she was doing internship at that time.
And where did you believe she was doing an internship?
At UCI.
What sort of internship did you believe she was
Medical
doing?
internship.
And what about her education? When you first met Mr. Singh, what did you believe your daughter's education to
But
be?
she was in the field of medicine.
Were you under the belief that she had graduated college?
Yes.
And where did you believe she graduated college from?
Riverside, UC.
And how did you come to that belief? Did she tell you that she had graduated from
Yes.
UC Riverside? You can answer.
Yes, I said.
Okay. And before we get more into the questions, I just wanted to mark as Exhibit E the notice of continuance of taking the deposition of witness Harpreet Sandhu and request for production of documents thereat. Did you bring any documents with you here today responsive to this document request?
I'm also, before you answer, objecting as to demands 1, 2, and 3. I also served notice of my objections to you. And again, the basis for those objections is it invades his privacy. It's overbroad, and he will not be producing any records responsive to 1, 2, and 3.
Same objections.
And we did receive your objections. With regards to requests 4 through 7, did you bring any documents with you here today responsive to those requests?
I can't verbally remember the number 4, 5, and 6, but I have some documents in response to.
Maybe if we just go through each one.
Okay, so request number 4, any and all documents reflecting any monies loaned, invested, or given to Armin Sandhu by you?
Yes, I have some.
Yes?
Can I see that, actually? I don't believe this document's responsive to number 4. I believe it's responsive to another section. This appears to be a W-2.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, request number 5, any and all documents reflecting monies paid by you to Armin Sandhu from January 1st, 2010 to present. Did you bring any documents responsive to that request?
Yes.
Request number 6, any and all documents reflecting any type of agreement or financial arrangement, written or oral, between you and Armin Sandhu from January 1st, 2010 to the present. Did you bring any documents responsive to that request? No?
No,
Why not?
I don't have any.
You don't have any in your possession or custody or control? Any documents responsive?
Yes.
And request number 7, any and all loan applications, credit card applications, and/or loan documents completed on or behalf of Armin Sandhu from January 1, 2010 to present. Did you bring any documents responsive to that request?
No.
Do you have any documents responsive to that request in your custody, possession, or control?
I don't have any. Deepak.
I believe before we were talking about your daughter's education, where you had believed she attended college, and you had stated you believe she graduated from UC Riverside. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, did she tell you that she went to school at UC Riverside and graduated from UC Riverside?
Objection, it's overbroad and likely lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
Vague as to time.
You can answer.
Yes.
And when was the first time she told you, I'm sorry, strike that. What years did she tell you she attended UC Riverside?
Same objections.
Same objection.
I don't recollect actual numbers.
What year did she tell you she graduated from UC Riverside?
Same objections, but for the record, it's like what she communicated to him is not the issue that's going to be before the court. What's going to be before the court are her communications to your client.
My objection is on vague because I don't believe the question refers as to what time period you're referring to that he understood that she went to that school, or when he discovered that she didn't go to that school.
I'm asking what years she told him she went to that school.
At what time? What conversation are you inferring? What time period was that conversation? Was that yesterday, or was that a week ago, or a year ago?
How long were you under the impression that your daughter was attending Riverside? How many years were you under that impression?
Till she revealed it.
I'm sorry?
Till she revealed the fact that she was not pursuing medicine.
When did she reveal that fact?
That was I don't recollect exact dates, but about maybe a year or so after marriage.
So the parties were married in 2010, so perhaps 2011?
Perhaps.
And what occurred during that discussion with your daughter?
She revealed that she was not pursuing a career in medicine.
And did she tell you anything about her college education?
That she did not complete that.
Did you discuss graduate school with her during that discussion? Whether or not she attended graduate school?
Graduate
It's a
school
yes
is the
or no.
one. I don't recollect.
At any point in time did she inform you that she was attending graduate school?
Once again,
At any point in time did your daughter inform you that she was attending graduate school or schooling after college?
I knew that she was attending
It's
college.
only a yes or a no. You don't have to. Just the question that I was asked is only ask for a yes, no, or I don't know.
Let me hear the question again.
Can you read the question back for me, please? Please.
At any point in time, did your daughter inform you that she was attending graduate school or schooling after college?
I don't recollect any conversation in particular stating that.
So you had a conversation with her about her not attending college, but you didn't discuss anything else with regards to her education that day?
Asked and answered.
A year after her marriage, when she revealed it voluntarily, that is the first time I learned about whatever she revealed at that point, what she had done and what she had not done.
And what did
Object,
she?
it's non-responsive. It was a yes or no question.
What else did she reveal to you during that conversation?
That she was not pursuing a career in medicine, and that she had not completed her graduation in Riverside.
At any point in time, did she tell you she completed graduate school?
I don't recollect any such conversation.
At any point in time, did she, during her marriage, before her marriage to Mr. Singh, did she tell you she was attending UC Irvine?
I don't recollect.
Did she tell you what she had studied at UC Riverside at any time?
I don't remember.
Did you ever ask her what she was studying at UC Riverside?
I don't remember any particular.
Did you ever have any discussions with her about her education at UC Riverside?
Objection, relevance. It's cumulative.
You can answer.
She was attending UC Riverside. That's all I knew.
So you didn't know what she was majoring in?
Objection, asked and answered, cumulative, irrelevant.
Overbroad, unlikely to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
Don't recollect.
You mentioned before that she had told you she was doing an internship at, was it UC Irvine? Where was she doing the internship?
Well,
Objection, lack
that's
of foundation.
Where did your daughter tell you she was doing an internship?
UC Irvine is, I'm not sure. I don't recollect clearly.
Did she tell you she was doing a medical residency program at UC Irvine?
Yes.
Did she tell you whether or not she was making an income at UC Irvine and doing her medical residency?
I don't recollect.
Did you ever ask her if she was making an income there?
I don't recollect.
Now, prior to the marriage of your daughter, Mr. Singh, did you discuss with him to have the marriage planned in 2010 for any reason?
objection,
Check.
relevant.
Unlikely to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
I'll rephrase. In 2008, did you discuss with Mr. Singh to have the marriage planned in 2010 so that your daughter could finish her medical residency?
I don't remember.
Were you present at the wedding between Mr. Singh and your daughter?
Yes.
Did your daughter represent to be a doctor on her wedding invitation?
The card, I remember, did so.
And you testified before that approximately a year after the parties were married, you had a discussion with your daughter where she told you she did, in fact, was not a medical resident. Is that correct?
Yes.
So where did this conversation occur? Where were you physically?
In our house in the condominium here.
Is that your condominium in Irvine?
Yes.
The Watermark place?
Yes.
Did your daughter have a graduation party from her graduation from UC Riverside?
I don't remember.
did you attend a graduation event on campus at UC Riverside for your daughter?
I don't really remember.
Did she ever provide any report cards from UC Riverside to you? Did she ever give you any report cards?
Objection.
I don't remember.
Yeah, unlikely to lead to discovery of admissible evidence. Doctor, when you hear an objection,
Sorry.
try not to answer the, it's okay, just try not to answer the question until we're done objecting.
During this conversation that you had with your daughter in your condominium in Irvine, where she came clean to you about her education, did she tell you why she had lied about her education?
Objection. Lack of foundation. Irrelevant.
I don't remember.
Did you ask her why?
I don't really remember.
Did you have a discussion with Mr. Singh after discovering your daughter did not have the credentials that she had said she had?
Objection. Vague as a discussion. You're talking
Vague
about.
as to time.
You're
Did
talking
you-
about any discussion or a discussion on?
Did you have a discussion with Mr. Singh in February 2011 after you found out your daughter did not actually have the credentials she had said she had?
Same objection. The answer asks if you had any discussions with him after that, but it doesn't ask if it is on any specific topic. So, I mean, if he's going to answer, I guess, if he ever talked to him after that date, it would qualify as a discussion. Maybe to rephrase about that issue. I'm assuming that's what you're...
I'm after, was there a discussion where you sat down with Mr. Singh in February of 2011 and discussed your daughter's employment and her credentials?
The revelation she made were made to Mr. Singh at the same time.
I'm going to object that the answer is non-responsive. It called for a yes or no.
So you had a discussion with Mr. Singh, correct, after you found out your daughter didn't have the credentials she had told you she had, correct?
Same objection. Or again, when you say discussion, are you referring to discussion about that issue or about any...
About that issue. Do you understand the question?
Yes, I understand. It was revealed to him at the same time as it was revealed to me. So it wasn't any specific discussion on the subject I separately had to have with him.
Okay. So she revealed to both of you at the same time that she hadn't graduated from UC Riverside, that she wasn't doing... Is that what you're saying?
It was the same day. I don't recollect the time or anything.
The same day, so both of you were together with her?
No, I don't know. I don't remember that.
Okay. So after that conversation that you had with her, did you discuss that conversation with Mr. Singh?
Mr. Singh,
It's a yes
I
or
don't
no.
remember, yeah.
And what was discussed?
I don't recollect details.
Did you ever sit down with him for about 4 hours to discuss what had happened with your daughter?
It's a yes or no.
Don't recollect.
And just for the record, please stop coaching your witness.
Just instruct him to answer your question.
I know,
The
but
transcript will show whether the witness is being coached or not.
I know. I would just advise you're coaching your witness, telling him yes or no. So.
Well, no, I'm
Just
telling
let-
him.
I know. I would just let him answer the question. Okay. So did you sit down with Mr. Singh for about 4 hours to discuss what you had discussed with your daughter
Make
about
sure
her
you-
education?
And make sure you just answer the question.
I don't remember any details.
Objection, it's non-responsive.
Did you ever tell Mr. Singh you took responsibility for the representations your daughter had made to him about her education?
Objection.
Don't
Unlikely to
remember.
lead to discovery of admissible evidence.
Join.
And
Do not
what's your answer?
remember.
You don't remember? Did you ever give Mr. Singh a check in February 2011 after your daughter had come clean about her education?
Objection vague.
Don't remember.
So it's your testimony here today, you don't remember having a 4-hour discussion with Mr. Singh about your daughter's employment?
I don't remember any details. We're talking about any conversations. I don't.
Do you recall at any point talking to Mr. Singh about your daughter's true employment, her true credentials,
Objection vague as to time.
at any time after 2011?
I don't recollect any particular details of any conversation because he knew exactly at that time what I knew. So it wasn't any issue of a private discussion with him. That I don't recollect being ever. Because he was privy to the same information as I was.
But you never had any private discussion with him about it?
Objection asked and answered.
I don't recollect.
Do you know what Mr. Singh's reaction was after discovering that your daughter had misrepresented her education, her employment?
Objection, lack of foundation. Well, now you can answer.
I don't recollect that part.
Okay.
Did you ever exchange emails with Mr. Singh during his marriage to your daughter?
Most of the times I responded to his emails.
I'm going to object that's non-responsive.
Join.
And what was the nature of those email exchanges between you and Mr. Singh?
I don't recollect
Objection is way
details.
overbroad.
I'd like to mark as exhibit, sorry, F. Which purports to be an email from Dr. Sandhu to Mr. Singh. It's a two-page document. The first page is the email. The second page shows when it was sent and the email addresses. Is your email address sandhuhs67@hotmail.com?
Yes.
Do you recognize this email?
Yes, I do.
And you talk about in this email.
Hold on, I'd
Oh.
like the opportunity to review
Okay.
this.
Okay, too.
Do you recall why you sent this email to Mr. Singh?
This was in response to an email from him which I don't recollect.
Now, in this email, you talk about, in the second paragraph, her error of judgment. Do you see that in the middle of the second
Yes, I
paragraph?
do.
What did you mean by that sentence?
I have no recollection of that.
Would reading it again take your refresh your recollection?
It's yes or no.
No.
So is it your testimony here today? You don't recall why you sent this email?
Objection asked and answered.
This was in response to some email, because I don't recollect ever initiating an email on my own. So this was a response to some email from him.
Objection non-responsive.
Oh. Okay, I'd like to hand you what I'm marking as, sorry, what number are we? G. Exhibit G, which purports to be another email from you to Mr. Singh. Take some time to look it over and let me know when you are finished.
Keep going, just one second.
Counsel, are you both done reading?
Yes.
I am.
Are you finished
I
reading,
am.
Dr. Sandhu?
Yes.
Did you send this email to Mr. Singh?
Yes.
Do you recall sending it to Mr. Singh?
I don't recall the time or date, but the substance is mine.
If you look at page 2, I believe it indicates it was sent on Sunday, July 14th, 2013.
Well, if
at
the
top.
record so states.
Okay, in this email, towards the bottom, you state that you're taking Armin with you to Porterville. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes.
Why did you state that in your email, this email?
She was in a state of distress at that point, and Mr. Singh was not available for any conversations. And there was no way leaving her alone in that state.
And why is that?
She was because at that time he had made himself absent, and she was trying to reconcile whatever was happening between the two. And when I responded and came, I found her distraught. And I wouldn't know the details, but she was distraught, and looking at her in that situation, I could not leave her. And trying to contact him was to no avail. Therefore, I had no choice as a father but to take her with me and inform him so that as and when she's able to come back in a more calm way and be able to have a conversation. And whenever we establish a contact with him, that would be the time.
You stated that she was in a state of distress. Can you describe what you mean by that?
She was very upset, that's all.
Okay. What was she upset about?
Objection calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
You can answer.
That she had left the house, that he had left the house,
He had left what house?
his own house, where they lived.
She was upset that he left the house in Irvine.
In their
Objection-
house.
Objection calls for speculation,
house,
lack of
where they
foundation.
live together.
You gotta wait, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll renew the objection then.
Yeah.
Objection, lack of foundation, cause for speculation. I believe you already answered, but if you can give it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just make sure you let him object and then you can answer afterwards.
Yes, my apologies.
It's okay. So
His-
she had left the house that
He
they
had.
he had left the house that they lived in Irvine, and she was upset about that?
That's still Irvine, I guess, their house, yes.
Okay. At the top you state, I am one with your pulse of agony. What does that mean? Do you see that? So it's the second line.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't recollect the actual thought process at that time, but obviously as a father, I was looking at both of them, very dear to me, and having some difficulties.
Okay. And I'd like to go back to Exhibit F, the first email.
Yes.
And on the bottom of the second paragraph, you stated, "Forgive and forget, and wise is he who knows what to overlook." What did you mean by that sentence?
Which line?
It's the last sentence of the second paragraph.
For the record, this email was sent in 2012, and you're asking me to
Yeah,
explain what he said in 2012 in an email?
I'm going to also object, it's not reasonably calculated
Where is the line I'm
admissible
talking about?
evidence.
I believe she's referring to this last sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see that sentence?
Yes, I do.
And why did you make those statements?
Objection, relevance.
I don't
Likely to
recollect.
lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
I don't recollect the actual thought process, but again, it was the general idea of pacifying the two, having some differences.
And what do you mean by the two having some differences?
Whatever they were, I don't recollect. But if they were in a situation where they were in difficulty of their relationship, if that, I don't know. But I always responded to his emails, and the tone of his emails is what I responded to. That if he sounded that way, my first response to him was to appease his distress, which I felt, and I don't know the details of what that particular thing was or not. That was never an idea in my mind. My response was, as a caring parent, to assuage anything I could to help them.
So we discussed before, your daughter had represented that she attended and graduated from UC Riverside. Did you provide funds for her tuition at UC Riverside?
Yes, I did.
Did she ever actually attend UC Riverside?
Objection asked and answered.
Lack of foundation.
To my knowledge, she did.
And to your knowledge, what years did she attend UC Riverside?
I don't recollect offhand the numbers of the years.
Do you remember how many years she
Don't
attended?
recollect exact numbers.
Do you know if she actually completed UC Riverside or graduated from UC Riverside?
Objection is asked and answered. Lack of foundation.
Join.
Till the day she revealed, as before stated.
Yeah. So I'm saying, to your knowledge now, did she graduate from UC Riverside?
Objection is asked and answered.
Join.
Lack of foundation.
Good answer.
I mean, frame the question again. I mean, try
Do
it.
you understand that? You don't understand the question?
I mean, I don't know.
So you stated that it's your impression that your daughter did attend UC Riverside, but you don't know how many years she did attend UC
Mhm.
Riverside. Do you know if she did in fact graduate from UC Riverside as of today's
The
date?
day she admitted, she said that she did not.
Okay.
That's the day I learned, and I believe it.
Okay. So you paid for her education there, but she had never completed college there.
As an after fact that I know.
Yes. Did you provide for her living expenses while she attended UC Riverside, or while she told you
Yes,
she
I
was
did.
attending? Do you recall what years she told you she went to UC Riverside?
No, I don't recollect the actual years.
Do you recall how many years she told you she went to
Don't
UC
recollect
Riverside?
actual
Objection.
actual
I think
numbers.
this has all been covered. Asked and answered.
Join.
352.
How did-
Unlikely to lead to discovery of admissible evidence.
How did you pay for her tuition? Did you pay it directly to her to pay the school, or did you pay it to the school?
Objection of relevance. Is this all before marriage, this time period?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Unlikely to lead to discovery of admissible evidence.
Don't remember.
You don't remember?
The mode of payments, don't remember.
Did you pay for her rent and utilities during that time period? too?
Objection. Same objection.
Same objection.
Yes.
Now, what about when she was doing her residency, when she told you she was doing her residency at UC Irvine? Did you pay for her living expenses during that time period?
Same objection.
Join.
The academic part which I believe she was doing during that time, yes, I was supporting her.
And what do you mean by academic part?
Meaning when she was studying
What was she studying? What did she tell you she was studying?
the medical profession.
And did you pay tuition for her studying in the medical profession too?
Yes.
Do you recall the mode of payment for that tuition?
I don't recollect.
If you had paid tuition to the school, you would have remembered that. Strike that. You don't recall if you tried to pay tuition directly to the school?
I don't
Objection
recall.
asked and answered.
Did you deposit money into her account, your daughter's account, for the tuition?
Objection. This is just way overbroad. It's before marriage. It's unlikely to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
Join.
Don't recollect details.
I don't think you answered this question. Did you pay for her living expenses while she told you she was doing her medical residency?
Objection
Same-
asked and answered.
Same objections.
Did he answer?
I believe he answered.
Can you answer again, please?
Details I don't remember. If she was living in our condo, for some part of it, I don't remember exact detail.
Was she paying you rent for living at the condo?
Objection 352.
Now, the money you put towards her tuition, did you expect to be repaid for that?
Objection vague. Which tuition?
Both tuitions.
And again, objection 352.
Vague as to time, vague as to school, vague as to semester.
The tuition you paid for UC
Quarter.
Riverside, do you now expect to be repaid for that tuition you paid?
No.
What about the tuition for UC Irvine?
Objection 352.
No.
If you could estimate, how much in total did you provide for her tuition at UC Riverside?
Objection 352.
Overbroad, vague.
Can't make a reasonable guess.
What was the tuition each year at UC Riverside?
Objection 352.
Don't remember.
What about at UC Irvine?
Objection 352.
Don't remember.
Have you discussed with your daughter what she did with the tuition money for UC Irvine?
Objection 352.
Lack of foundation.
Don't remember.
You don't remember if you discussed it with her?
Objection asked and answered.
Don't remember.
Have you ever asked her what she did with that money?
Objection, it's way overbroad, unlikely to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. It's harassment, frankly.
Join.
Don't recollect.
In 2006, was your daughter arrested for burglary and theft at
Objection.
Target?
Objection 352. Lack of foundation.
You can answer.
I don't know details.
You don't know details? What are you aware of that occurred in 2006?
Objection,
don't,
overbroad, vague.
I don't recollect.
Did you ever pay bail for her in 2006?
I don't recollect.
I'm going to hand you, and I'm going to mark as exhibit E. H?
H.
This purports to be a case summary for the 2006 arrest of Armin Sandhu. Now this states there is a violation date of May 18th, 2006. Two charges of one charge of grand theft, one charge of burglary, second degree. At the bottom you can see there is a bond paid of $20,000. Do you see that at the bottom, Dr. Sandhu?
Which line is it? Oh, here. Yes, I see that.
Did you pay that bail bond?
Objection, unlikely to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
I don't recollect.
Now, it says an attorney was retained. Do you recall your daughter retaining an attorney for these charges?
I don't recollect.
Now, in 2006, do you recall if your daughter was employed?
Objection 352.
Repeat the question again.
In 2006, during this violation date, 5/18/2006, I'm sorry, May 18th, 2006, do you recall if your daughter was employed at that time?
Objection 352.
No,
You don't recall?
no, I don't recall.
Has your daughter, since her graduation, has your daughter graduated from high school?
Yes.
So since her graduation from high school, has she been employed, to your knowledge, ever?
In my office, she's done some work temporarily.
And when was she employed at your office?
Exact dates off the cuff I would not remember, but the recent of late, last year she did some work for me.
Last year?
2000,
Prior to last year, did she work?
2013 perhaps, yeah.
Was that at your sleep lab? Sorry.
My office and sleep lab, yeah.
Your office and sleep lab? Okay. Prior to her work at your office and sleep lab, was she employed prior to that by anyone?
She had done similar work for my office and the sleep labs before.
And how much were you paying her to work at your sleep lab?
Yes, I gave her the W-2s. They were compensated just the same way.
And how much were you paying her? Was it a salaried position, hourly?
These were temporary services. So accordingly, I don't recollect the details. The last one I recollect from the W-2 hand.
Well, W-2 provided by you,
Yes.
I think it states,
That one I've seen, yes, I know.
so it looks like did you pay her by month?
Wait,
This
hold on.
wa-
Just because
Sorry.
the record you reflected the W-2, but you're not looking at the W-2 now, and you're
I'm
pointing
looking at
it.
some paycheck stubs possibly.
The paychecks,
So it looks like you paid her monthly,
yes. They were,
Okay.
yes, 2 or 3 months.
so it looks like from what you provided that she worked 3 months. In 2013.
Yes.
Okay. So in 2006, to your knowledge, she was not employed.
Don't recollect.
I see here there was retained attorneys. Did you pay any attorney fees for her?
Objection has been answered.
Don't recollect.
In 2006, she would have had no other stream of income, to your knowledge. Is that correct?
Objection calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
Don't recollect.
And $20,000, that's a big sum of money to you. Is that correct?
Objection.
Go ahead.
Objection argumentative.
You can answer.
Unlikely to lead to discovery of admissible evidence.
I don't,
Lack of foundation.
I mean,
And it's not paying a bond, it's posting a bond.
Posting.
That would get returned after the fact.
I certainly don't recollect.
Okay. To your knowledge, has your daughter retained any attorney for any purpose prior to this dissolution matter?
I don't recollect.
So we discussed before that you had employed your daughter for about 3 months at your sleep lab.
Yes.
Was she only employed there for 3 months total in 2013?
Yes.
Were there any requirements for the position she worked in?
Not really.
And what were her duties?
Duties were general. This is my office and my sleep lab are in the same building. They are part of the same proceedings of the day. In my office, I guess, like any physician's office, after a few years, there is a certain kind of backlog that occurs from mostly filing patient records and all. That entails streamlining files alphabetically, chronologically, and sorting out inactive versus active files, and between arranging them in a way that from the storage you can have access for a certain period of time. So those are tedious kind of scenarios that you backlog, you cover up. Those are the kind of stuff that she would help. Then the sleep lab aspect of it. Every few years you have to revamp the place where the sleep studies are done at night so that they're more conducive to the patients being tested for sleep disorders. And those are kind of rearrangements from that perspective, more aesthetic, those kind of things that she would help. And then there were some other odd jobs which don't need really any specific training, but anything to do with the computers there, just their making them set up in a proper file, rechange their tables and their orderly fashions or whatever. It's something very non-technical.
And real quick for the next question, I don't mind working through lunch. I just want to know what your time frame is, because I don't know if I don't mind working through lunch. I don't know if anybody else is okay with it, but I'm fine.
We have the room till 1:30, so if we're going to.
I think we'll finish before 1:30.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay? Keep
Yeah.
Fine
going?
with me.
Yeah.
You guys okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, I'm okay too, but anyway.
Oh.
We get-
There was
yes.
a second
You need
thought.
Huh?
Do you need a break?
No, I don't need a
Okay.
break, but I kind of feel like a second thought for all of you, but anyway.
Okay. So what hours did your daughter work at your sleep lab? Was it full-time, part-time job?
No, they were at her, she was given no such restraints because she was not located there all the time. She would do it on her off days whenever she could do that, because the nature of the work, she had done similar kinds somewhere in the past, and therefore it was not like a 9-to-5 job or anything, but it was just that this is the kind of work, get it done, and that is what she got done.
And you mentioned that this was a temporary position.
This was just every few years here and there, this is catching up with the
Is it-
backlog.
Was it based on your need at the office?
Yes, yes. Sorry, my
So
apologies.
would she just get her tasks done and then she would be done working at that point? Or why did she stop working for you?
Yeah, that, as I said, the lag for after every 2-3 years, whatever, it piles up. That's taken care of and that's it.
Is your daughter going to school right now, to your knowledge?
Yes.
And where are you aware she's going to school right now?
It's Fullerton State.
Do you know what she's studying?
Objection 352.
Can't really recollect details.
Do you know what classes she's taking right now?
Objection 352.
Don't know details. Subject-wise, I mean, it's
What are you aware of with regards to her education right now, other than that she's going to Fullerton? UC Fullerton? Is that what you said?
I'm just gonna have an ongoing objection for 352. If spousal support's gonna terminate within this year, that's my objection 352 related to any education current arrangement she has now.
Okay, well, spousal support supposedly is not going to terminate this year, but you can still answer.
I forgot the question.
What is your knowledge of her education right now? What she's studying?
She's, to my knowledge, she's studying for a graduation, and her major is psych. And how she goes about and what classes in a particular session she's taking, that detail I don't know.
Are you paying her tuition right now?
Anything I pay for her is at my discretion. When I feel it is necessary and needed, I certainly do.
Okay, so I don't think that really responded to the question. So for her education currently, are you paying her tuition?
As I said, whenever it is brought to me and I feel that this particular payment she needs help to do, I do.
So when's the last time you made a payment for her education?
I don't recollect off the cuff. I think I might have given you some papers to that
Oh,
effect.
did you? I see that you provided some. Okay, so some copies of checks.
Yes.
Now these are dated 2012 and 2013.
These are the ones I could get from the perusal of the checkbooks that I had because of the short notice.
So did you? I don't know if you answered the question. When's the last time you gave her payment for tuition?
I don't recollect the exact date.
Was it this year?
Don't know.
If you could estimate, when's the last time you gave her money for her tuition?
Objection asked and answered.
I've certainly given her money. I don't recollect exactly what for, but it was evaluated by me at my discretion if it was needed, and only then it was given.
So does she ask you for money, and then does she have to tell you what the money's for before you give it to her?
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you giving her money currently for her living expenses?
No.
Where is she living currently?
She's living with a relative.
And a relative?
Mm-hmm.
And where is she living?
The exact address I'll have to refer to. I forget my own address sometimes.
Was Miss Sandhu living with you this past summer?
After she had finished her session at school here, which was, I presume the name is IVC, then for that part when she was not at school, she was living with me.
And she was living with you at your home in Porterville?
Yeah, the home is in Porterville, but if I remember, she was taking some classes in Bakersfield. So she would commute to Bakersfield during that session, but she was staying in Porterville, yes.
Did she pay you rent for staying at your home in Porterville? Are you aware of if she's employed now?
Once again, repeat the question again.
Are you aware of whether or not she's employed currently?
As far as I'm aware, no.
And you mentioned she was taking classes this past summer in Bakersfield. Do you know what classes she was taking?
Objection asked and answered.
Exact class, I don't know, but she was taking a class.
Have you discussed her future education with her?
Objection vague. That's the time.
Recently, have you discussed her future education with her?
She has made her aspects of her education revealed to me, in a sense, what she would like to do.
And what has she told you?
And that she would want to continue and pursue further academics into post-graduation, preferably again into the medical profession.
Did you file income taxes for your daughter in 2009?
I don't recollect.
Prior to her marriage to Mr. Singh, did you help her file her tax returns?
I don't recollect.
Do you recall how you filed your tax returns in 2009?
Objection. Unless you can establish
Yeah.
some nexus as to how that's going to be relevant in this case, I'm going to instruct them not to answer.
Yeah.
During Miss Sandhu's marriage to Mr. Singh, did you receive calls from Mr. Singh on several occasions with regards to your daughter's drinking habits?
Objection, relevant, compound, lack of foundation, calls for speculation.
I'll second those.
Don't recommend any particulars. Sorry, don't recollect, not recommend them.
Did Mr. Singh call you on December 5th, 2011, to discuss your daughter's drinking?
I would not be able to recollect dates like that at all.
Do you recollect in December of 2011 going to Mr. Singh's residence in Irvine to help take care of your daughter?
Don't recollect any details.
Was there a period in December 2011 where your daughter started living separate from Mr. Singh?
Objection, calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
As far as, to my knowledge, no.
During the party's marriage, did you visit Mr. Singh and your daughter often at their residence in Irvine?
We did visit them. I don't know how to define often.
How often would you visit them, if you could estimate?
Objection, 352.
Weekends, whenever, because no other days could I afford to.
And what was the nature of the visits?
Objection, 352.
Family visits.
What?
Just a family visit.
Okay. Are you aware that the parties purchased property during the marriage, Mr. Singh and your daughter?
I know they have a house.
Do you know the address of the house? Do you know where it's located?
I don't know the exact address.
Do you know the town it's located in?
I hear it's Irvine.
To your knowledge, who bought that property?
Objection,
They
lack
did.
of foundation.
It's vague as to bought.
To your knowledge, with what funds were used to pay the down payment on that property?
Objection, lack of foundation.
I have no recollection of it.
Did you, prior to the purchase of the property, well, let's strike that. Do you know when the property was purchased?
I don't remember dates.
Do you recall whether or not it was during the marriage between Mr. Singh and Ms. Sandhu?
Yes.
Objection, I mean, it's easily verifiable. It really doesn't matter what he knows on that. Not so sure what the objection is, but it's,
Relevant.
yeah, thanks.
The answer is yes.
Were you involved in the purchase process for the property?
As far as my recollection, no.
Were you present when the initial purchase agreement was signed for the property?
No.
Were you present when any... Strike that. So it's your testimony here today you were not present when the purchase agreement was signed?
Yes.
Did you ever have any discussions with Mr. Singh regarding ownership of the property?
Don't recollect.
To your knowledge, did your daughter contribute anything, any funds to the down payment for the
Objection.
property?
Objection, lack of foundation.
I don't recollect.
Have you seen any loan applications with regards to the property that the parties purchased?
No.
Are you aware your daughter signed an interspousal deed with regards to that property?
I don't recollect.
Did you ever discuss your daughter signing the interspousal deed for the property with your daughter?
Objection, asked and answered.
I don't recollect.
Now, you provided some checks, some copies of
Yes.
checks. Are these only for education expenses?
What I was written, I mean, some are written, some is like I just looked at it. Someone was for her birthday or something.
So, do you provide her living expenses currently? Do you help her with her living expenses?
Objection is vague as to the term living expenses.
And asked and answered.
The answer is no. And again, as I said, anything I help her with is at my discretion. If I see the need that she is not supported at that particular moment, then yes, I will and I might.
Do you give her a monthly allowance?
No.
Do you deposit any cash into her bank accounts currently?
Don't recollect.
And so you said that she asks you for money and she tells you what she's asking for, why she's asking for the money. Is there a limit on how much she can ask you for?
It'll be my discretion at that point. I'll evaluate it when the facts are there. And
Do you allow her to use your credit card?
absolutely not.
What about your wife's credit card?
As far as I remember, my wife doesn't have a credit card.
A
It might be a
debit
debit card.
Debit card? Does your wife allow her to use her debit card?
Objection, lack of foundation, cause for speculation.
As far as I know, that's not allowed. but I can't vouch for anybody else.
Does she, she asks you for money sometimes, does she ask your wife for money?
Objection,
You know?
lack of foundation, calls
Don't
for
know.
speculation.
This past summer, you stated, I believe you said she wasn't paying you rent. Is that correct? When she was living with you this
When
past
she was
summer?
living at home, no.
Was she paying any other utility bills or contributing to
At
those?
home, no.
What about groceries? Did she help pay for groceries at the house?
Don't recollect.
During her marriage to Mr. Singh, did you give Ms. Sandhu money on a monthly basis?
No.
Did she ask for money from you during her marriage to Mr. Singh?
I don't recollect. Again, as I said, it's just in a family, if I'm with her and I'm there in a car and I get a $30 gas for her car, I mean, that kind of a thing, but not any asking in particular.
Did you let her use your credit cards during the marriage?
Of course not. Not then, not ever.
So you mentioned that during the marriage she would ask you for gas money, for example.
She won't ask if I was there in the car, I was driving it, or she was driving it. The car needed gas. I don't think it's too big a presumption to go ahead and.
And did she ever just ask you for money during the marriage to Mr. Singh?
Objection has an answer.
It's vague as to ask you for money, vague as to time.
You can answer.
I don't recollect any amount of money or anything. As I said, if it ever were, which I don't recollect, it would be at my discretion.
So it was kind of the same thing during the marriage as it is now. She would ask you for she would ask you for money and you would decide if you wanted to give her the money?
I would absolutely decide, yes.
Was there a limit on how much money you would give her during the marriage?
But it's all up to me. I mean, I don't know.
So is that a no? Or
There's a limit. That is not something I can say yes or no, because it has to be evaluated on the merits of what she needs.
so during the marriage, what was the most amount of money that she asked you
I
for?
don't recollect that.
What about
It wasn't anything.
And there's no question pending.
Sorry.
what about car payments? Is your name on the car that she drives now?
Yes,
And during the marriage, did she drive that car too?
she has driven that car, yes.
What kind of car is that?
It's a Avalon, Toyota Avalon.
And is that Avalon's under your name?
Yes.
Do you make those car payments on that car?
For the most part, I do.
What does that mean for the most
As
part?
far as I recollect.
Has Miss Sandhu ever made payments on the car?
I don't recollect.
What are the monthly payments on that car? Is the car paid off?
It's
or-
paid off.
When was it paid off?
Don't recollect the exact year.
Was the car paid off in the last 2 years?
More than that, I think.
More than
Or
2 years?
exactly, I can't specify.
So it's been paid off for at least 2 years?
Probably. I don't recollect really the detail on that.
Now, when your daughter was married to Mr. Singh, when they were together, did you deposit money into her Bank of America account at any time?
I don't recollect.
When she would ask you for money, how would you give her the money? Would you give her a check, a cash?
Objection, asked and answered. I think he testified before. He gave an example of him being in a car with her and they needed gas. He would pay for the gas. So I'm assuming it's going to vary how.
But he
would
also
give
said if she asked for money, he would give her money.
I'm sorry, doctor, did you get a phone call or something?
Yes, I did, but they probably hopefully leave a mail.
Okay, sorry.
Do you understand the question that she asked? She said whenever, correct me
What
if I'm
form
wrong.
of money would you give to your daughter when she asked for money during the marriage?
To my recollection, I would be present for most of the transactions after evaluating whatever it was for. In what form or fashion, I don't really recollect any details on those and when.
So for what purposes other than gas would she ask you for money? If you could give examples.
Like she needed, like the statement, one of the checks says she needed books, she needed $150 for books. Well, that sounded a valid reason to me and I would give it. If she said this session tuition fee of $200 or $300, $150, whatever it was, sounded reasonable to me, I would do that.
Have you ever loaned any money to your daughter?
I mean, ever since her present resolve to do what she wants to do in life in her current situation, she's made that resolve to me as well, as far as any financial aspects of that she incurs on me during this period, that anytime that I help her in anything, I anticipate that she determines to pay them back sometime in the future, whatever they may be.
Are there any loan documents between you and your daughter for any loans you've
No.
given her?
No.
So what kind of payments do you expect her to repay you for? I'm just trying to understand.
Whatever I end up paying for her now, she intends to pay them back.
Has she told you that?
Yes.
Has she told you when she expects to pay you back?
No time frame or anything of that kind of a discussion I remember that we had.
Are you paying for your daughter's attorney fees for this case?
As and when. There are situations where she doesn't have those resources and I will pay those.
So is that a yes or is that a no?
I have paid them on whenever she's asked me to, that she doesn't have the resources to pay the legal counsel for it. I go ahead and pay that. That sounds reasonable to me.
Is there an agreement between you and her that she's going to repay you for her attorney fees?
That is what she's made me understand.
But there's no written document? Are you charging her interest on what you've paid so far?
I have not discussed anything like that with her, to my recollection.
Have you discussed when she's supposed to start repaying you for the attorney fees?
No.
Have you discussed with her what she'll pay you per month? Any sort of repayment plan?
No details.
Asked and answered.
How much does she owe you so far for the money you've paid for her attorney fees?
I could add it up if I guess.
If you could just estimate.
Certainly in the thousands. I don't know exactly how many.
During the marriage, at the beginning of the marriage, did your family give any sort of jewelry to your daughter?
Ladies department, have no association with those details.
Okay. Do you recall buying any jewelry for her during the marriage?
As I said, any situation, if I'm financially there to do some transactions on me making any payments perhaps, but I don't recollect any such thing pertaining to these kind of objects.
What about for Mr. Singh? Do you recall your family buying any jewelry for him during their marriage?
As I said, this is purely marriages and the details and all these kind of things are handled by my better half and the rest.
Well, she had indicated otherwise, that you had handled this, if I recollect correctly.
I don't believe she testified to that. I believe she.
Paying any money for it, surely. 'Cause that is the aspect. What is it for is not what I ask on that score. Because I am the person who, the source of income.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously.
So do you recall paying for a watch for Mr. Singh during the marriage?
As I said, I'm not privy to any details for those particular items of any nature.
So
But
how would that have occurred? Who would have asked you? Would ask you for payment for jewelry? Would it be your wife? Would it be your daughter?
It could have been either.
So you don't recall either of them asking for money from you for jewelry for Mr. Singh?
For any particular object, I don't.
Well, what do you recall?
Whatever expenses, I'm sure. I was the one paying those, but what exactly itemized, was it a jewelry aspect or was it arranging dinner for the marriage party or was it paying the guys who's putting up the decorations? That are details I can't have any in my mind. But yes, whatever it was, I was the sole responsible for those occasions.
Do you recall buying a ring for Mr. Sandhu?
Objection, asked and answered.
I don't.
Do you recall buying a watch for him?
I don't remember.
Objection, dead horse.
Do you recall buying a bangle for him?
I don't recall any such items.
No, you mentioned before that your daughter lived with you this past summer. Does she keep jewelry at your house in Porterville?
I don't question the ladies about any such feminine items.
So is that a no?
It's a very clear no.
Are you aware of where she keeps her jewelry now?
I would have no clue.
Take a break.
Okay. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break.
Time is 12:43 p.m. We are off the record. Time is 12:53 p.m. We are on the record.
Okay, Dr. Sandhu, we discussed before, and I believe you said you didn't recall whether or not you helped your daughter file tax returns in 2009. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you recall if she provided any W-2s to you in 2009?
I don't recollect.
What about 2010?
I don't recollect.
Are you aware Mr. Sandhu is paying support to your daughter?
That's not Mr. Sandhu.
I'm sorry, Mr. Singh.
Mr. Sandhu may be providing support. I'm just kidding.
Are you aware of whether or not if Mr. Singh is paying support to your daughter?
I am aware of some such arrangement. I'm not privy to the details.
Are you, strike that, are you, strike that again. After he is finished paying support to your daughter, do you plan on financially helping her out in the future?
Objection, relevance.
Calls for speculation.
My discretion. I'll evaluate.
Okay, I have nothing further. Do you have any questions, counsel?
No, I don't.
No.
All right, there's a stipulation that's contained in Exhibit A regarding, I'm sorry, it's not Exhibit A, it was Exhibit D, regarding relieving the court reporter of her duties under the code, provides for your review and approval of the transcript within the code. right?
Within the code, the only exception that we agreed to was instead of the deponent coming to my office to sign in person, that I can email the same electronically and he can send it back to me in the same fashion. to
That's
give to you.
correct.
Yes, other than that, everything's by the Code of Civil Procedure.
All right. So stipulated, counsel?
So stipulated.
Thanks for your time.
This
Thank you.
concludes the videotape deposition of Harpreet Sandhu. The time is 12:55 p.m. We're off the record.
Thank you for your time.